Neil Dahlstrom is here. We're not going to look forward, but backwards a little bit with him. He's the author of Tractor Wars. I know you probably heard me say, if you've got the book, bring it with you. I wanted you to know where Neil was and to meet him just a little bit. He's going to talk about Tractor Wars and then the documentary as well that PBS in Iowa produced, which will air again at 7 o'clock on Tuesday next week and 2 o'clock on Wednesday. Neil, thank you for being here and taking some time with us. I appreciate it. The floor is yours for maybe 10 minutes or so.
Okay. Thank you very much. I know I'm standing between you and a break, so we're going to make this quick, okay? We're just going to cover 117 years of history in the next 10 minutes. Is that fine with everybody? We'll go super fast, I promise. It's really amazing to me to kind of listen to it and learn about autonomy because there's so many parallels between this kind of technology journey. And for me, when you write a book that starts in 1908 and ends in 1928, and you say, oh, this all sounds really familiar to me, this kind of adoption curve and this technology curve, and that's really what this book, Tractor Wars, is about. So if you don't want to hear the story, close your ears, just plug your ears, right? Because I don't want to give it away. But basically, the bookends are 1908. This young up-and-coming car manufacturer named Henry Ford, who no one's ever heard of, sends a photo and a paragraph to a publication called the Farm Implement News and says, I'm building a farm tractor, and it's going to be out really soon. And so you imagine people, opening up the Farm Implement News and reading it and going, yeah, okay, I think I've heard of this word tractor before. I don't know who this Henry Ford dude is, but okay, big deal. Well, a month later, Henry Ford rolls something else out called the Model T, and all of a sudden, a lot of people have heard of Henry Ford. But he's a farm kid. That's kind of the beginning of this journey. The farm tractor industries, couple hundred machines from maybe 6 or 7 manufacturers at that period in time. So that's kind of the starting point. The next important piece happens in 1909. Cyrus McCormick Jr., the CEO of International Harvester, and William Butterworth, the CEO of John Deere, have a meeting. Cyrus McCormick says, I heard that you're going to get into the harvesting business. And if you do that, we're going to go into the plow business. And William Butterworth says, no, we're not doing that. We'd never do that, but I heard that you're getting into the plow business, and if you do that, we're going to go into the harvesting business. Of course, they're both doing this already behind the scenes, right? So that kind of sets this up. International Harvester is 10 times the size of John Deere at the time. They're a $100 million a year company. And this kind of triggers a lot of this, what they're trying to build what they call a full line. So that's 1909. Fast forward a little bit, the farm tractor, not really widely adopted. We're talking about these big, what they call prairie tractors. They're 60, 70 horsepower machines. They're in Canada, they're out west. In 1913, this company comes along called the Bull Tractor Company, and they do something amazing. They go, oh, the average farm size in the United States is 40 to 50 acres. Why don't we build a tractor that's suitable for the average size farmer? This is what an editor called the gorgeous nightmare period, which is everything just went chaotic. Now every entrepreneur, every technology person, every ag implement manufacturer decides they're getting into the tractor business. The Bull sells a whopping 3,000 tractors in 1913. 5 years later, they're bankrupt because it turns out building a tractor is really, really hard. Where's Henry Ford? Still trying to design a farm tractor because it turns out that building a farm tractor is really, really hard. Takes him all the way until 1918. John Deere starts R&D in 1912. They introduced their first farm tractor in 1918, and that's where this started with me. People would say, what took John Deere so long to get into the tractor business? And I would say, well, 1918 feels really early to me, and they were before the people who were after them, but they were after the people who were before them. That meant Neil doesn't know the answer, so he's going to try to confuse you. That's what really started the research. So John Deere gets into the business. International Harvester is the big player. By 1925, there's 160 tractor manufacturers in the United States. They're building 200,000 tractors a year. Henry Ford has 75% market share. He introduces the Fordson in 1918. He's got 75% market share. The industry is evolving. We had things happen like a world war, a global pandemic, all of these things, all this context, which is really important, an ag recession, price wars in the early 1920s. So there's a lot going on in this period. Henry Ford starts hemorrhaging market share in the automobile business and has to make a decision. So he goes from 75% market share in 1925 to almost nothing in 1928 because he withdraws from the tractor industry and we start over. International Harvesters at the top again, Deere's number 2. They're selling about 75 to 80% and everyone else is trying to figure it out. That's the entire book in about 5 minutes. Hopefully we did okay there, you followed me. So that led to this great call I got about a year and a half ago from Iowa PBS, one of their producers says, well, I got your book for Christmas. Have you ever thought about doing a documentary? And I said, no, because I don't know how to do documentaries. But that kind of led down this road of producing this documentary with PBS that came out last year. And as of, I think, a day ago, 2 days ago, it's being released nationally. So hopefully everyone's going to get to see this documentary, and I'm really excited about it.